8 life lessons to learn from Conor McGregor. Number 8. Bet on yourself. Having a healthy dose of self-confidence in yourself is one of the key things you need to do if you want to achieve whatever goals you have set out for yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, who will? Conor McGregor isn't short on it when it comes to confidence. In his UFC 189 matchup against Chad Mendes, McGregor was pretty confident in his skills, or better said, confident enough to the tune of $3 million. According to UFC president Dana White, McGregor wanted to make a bet with him and a co-owner of the UFC. Conor offered to put down $3 million that he would finish Mendes early. Even White himself said that he couldn't believe how confident McGregor is of his abilities. Of course, as much as White likes to gamble, the bet wasn't accepted, as fighters betting with promoters is a big no-no. Still, White says McGregor's willingness to do such a thing goes to show the world just how much confidence he carries around. While betting with your bosses on a fight is probably a bit unprofessional, there's no doubt McGregor was dead serious about his prediction. The event brought in $7.2 million at the gate, which broke the record at the time for an MMA event in the US. And yeah, for anyone wondering, McGregor did incredibly win the second round, meaning that he would have actually won the money had the bet actually happened. The best bet you can make in life is always on yourself, because ultimately it's up to you whether or not you succeed. Number 7. Hard work, not talent. According to Conor McGregor himself, talent doesn't exist. Everything is predicted on hard work. McGregor has stated on more than one occasion that he's not even remotely talented at what he does, and that his success is because he's completely obsessed with his craft, and he's where he's at because he was willing to do whatever it took. The Irish-born featherweight doesn't keep a schedule in a traditional sense. In fact, he hates routines and just trains whenever he feels like it. Most of the time, he simply wakes up and starts training. For Conor McGregor, mixed martial arts training starts and ends with control, so all of McGregor's movements revolve around control of his body, mind, and breath. On a typical day, McGregor goes to the gym and does a bunch of different exercises that don't just involve fighting. For example, he might do a few rounds of jiu-jitsu, do some pad work, jump some rope, and do core work. McGregor also does free weight exercises, such as single-leg barbell deadlifts, to build strength and balance simultaneously. However, he stated that his best asset is his belief in himself, and the fact that he has a stronger mindset than that of his opponents. McGregor and Mayweather go head-to-head in one of the most anticipated boxing matches in history on August 26, 2017. McGregor has been doing his intense training camp at the most technically advanced center he can get to. McGregor released a series of pictures on his official Instagram, working hard at the UFC's Performance Institute in Las Vegas. There are snaps of him sparring in the ring, recovering in a negative 278-degree cryotherapy chamber, and running in an underwater treadmill. Can McGregor actually shock the world? Can he actually cram and ace this intense exam with one of the best boxers ever? Vote and let me know. Can't wait to see how that fight turns out in the end. Number 6. Win the psychological war. Psychological warfare has been around since the dawn of time, and it's one of the oldest weapons, not to mention one of the most effective weapons in warfare. Most wars are won before it even begins. The main goal is to demoralize and break the enemy's will to fight. In case you guys didn't know, McGregor is a master of psychological warfare. McGregor always engages in trash talk against his opponents, which has led to comparisons of him to Muhammad Ali, whom McGregor cites as one of his early inspirations. One example of McGregor playing some tricky games was when he verbally destroyed Chad Mendes before the fight in interviews. Mendes said that during their fight, McGregor didn't stop trash-talking the entire time as well. Mendes would hit him with everything he had, and Conor would say, "Is that all you got?" Many of McGregor's opponents don't even engage him in any type of trash talk because they don't have as much practice in the psychological warfare as McGregor does. Another great story is McGregor's fight with Dustin Poirier, the fight which propelled Conor McGregor to stardom in the UFC. Poirier himself spoke about his fight with Conor McGregor and how the mind games really affected him in the build-up to the fight. He said that the moment that messed with his head was when he was getting ready to walk out and saw McGregor smiling and pointing at him. The guy he was supposed to fight was just standing there smiling at him, showing no fear whatsoever. Number 5. Create a spectacle. Apart from being one of the best fighters in the world, McGregor knows exactly how to turn heads, and he's definitely not afraid to use his Instagram to create a full-blown spectacle. Because what's the use of being one of the best fighters in the world if no one knows who you are and have no interest in seeing you win or lose? Fans can catch McGregor posting pictures of himself on Instagram, doing everything from training in a gym, wearing a perfectly fitted three-piece suit, or hanging with the latest celeb. Oh yeah, let's also not forget all the photos of the supercars he's been whipping around. Basically, if he's not fighting, he's as flashy as he can be, and that can only be good for business. Back in April 2014, he was named Most Stylish Man at the VIP Style Magazine Awards in Ireland. McGregor has said before that he really enjoys doing two things: whooping ass and looking good. Although being as flashy as possible works for McGregor in his profession, that obviously doesn't mean it works for most people. What does work is for people to make themselves known for what they do best, whether it's personal or professional. Probably one of the best moments ever in the history of press conferences happened thanks to McGregor, when he casually combined the worlds of high fashion and trash talking in a way only he could do. During one of the press conferences for McGregor's fight with Floyd Mayweather, McGregor made a huge splash with the suit that he was wearing. He told the cameras to zoom in and get a closer look because the suit says "F you." He wasn't kidding in the slightest, because when the cameras did zoom in, each stripe, sure enough, was made up of dozens of little "F yous" up and down the suit. Clearly, it was a brilliant message meant for Mayweather and anyone else who was close enough to read it. Number 4. Visualize your goals. It's no secret that hard work made Conor McGregor a world champion in just a few years. However, apart from all the hard work he put into his career, McGregor visualizes his goals before executing them. He's said that if you're able to clearly focus on the goals you want in your head and say those exact same things out loud, then your goals will happen. You'll be nothing less than motivated to execute what you want. According to McGregor, creating the energy of what you want to experience is just as important as speaking out loud about the things you want. Your thoughts are everything. What you think is what you become. For McGregor, that once meant saying things such as, "I am the champion, I am the best in the world," out loud to himself. Of course, McGregor is now one of the world's best, and is an actual champion. But he has had the heart of a champion before he actually was one in the first place. We can learn from McGregor to behave and act as if you've already achieved your goal, no matter where you are. Success begins first and foremost with our mindset. What's actually pretty amazing and weird at the same time is how many times McGregor has predicted the way his fights are going to end. McGregor has been labeled as Mystic Mac due to his uncanny ability to gaze into his so-called crystal ball and predict the future. When he was fighting Jose Aldo, McGregor knew he was going to win right from the start. Before the opening of the first round, Aldo and McGregor refused to touch gloves. They went immediately into combat, and it ended with Aldo losing consciousness in mere seconds, 13 seconds to be exact. The knockout was the fastest finish in UFC title fight history. Number 3. Be loyal to those loyal to you. McGregor believes in a lot about loyalty. He's tweeted out the fact that loyalty is everything. McGregor has stayed with the same team for years and, so far, refused to leave Ireland and move to the US. In true Irish McGregor fashion, even his walkout music is a tribute to his home country. His music features Sinead O'Connor, who's a famous Irish singer and songwriter. Apart from showing massive love for his fans and working with the same people, he stated there's one person in particular who keeps him going: his girlfriend and mother of his son, Dee Devlin. McGregor and the 28-year-old Devlin have been together long before his UFC stardom. The fighter admitted he's incredibly thankful to his longtime girlfriend for sticking by him through thick and thin, especially in times when he had absolutely nothing. In fact, in order to support Conor on the road, Dee quit her job to be able to travel more. They've been together since 2008, and he hired her as an official member of his team, where she currently manages his finances. Their first child, Conor Jack McGregor Jr., was born on the 5th of May, 2017. Number 2. Don't let your past define you. Conor McGregor was raised in a small town called Crumlin in the suburbs of South Dublin, and this is where he learned his craft as an MMA fighter in the early days. He used to get bullied because of him being an easy target because of his shorter and smaller stature and size growing up. Bullying is one reason why he grew up closer to combat sports growing up. Although later on, things still didn't look that promising for those that didn't know him. Conor McGregor had a job as a plumber, and just before his first high-profile fight in UFC, he picked up a $180 welfare check because he had to make ends meet. In February 2007, at the age of 18, McGregor made his MMA debut in an amateur fight against Kieran Campbell in Dublin, where he was victorious via TKO in the first round. Following the fight, he turned professional and was signed by the Irish Cage of Truth promotion. Even though he came from humble beginnings, McGregor didn't let any of his hardships define who he was. He's completely reinvented his life and established himself as the biggest pay-per-view draw in MMA history. Number 1. Never give up. If there's one thing where McGregor really excels at, it's definitely his persistence. He never, ever gives up, even when he's going through the most difficult moments in life, as he's demonstrated before. In fact, during a fight against Max Holloway, McGregor ended up tearing his ACL and still ended up winning the fight. During the round, McGregor heard and felt a huge pop in his leg, but decided to keep going. He realized he was very wobbly on it, but decided to go on because he felt he could still win the fight. Of course, it did affect the way McGregor fought, as his win came from a decision and not from a KO, like McGregor normally delivers. During the post-fight interview, McGregor admitted that it still felt like a loss to him, since he wasn't able to deliver a more glorious finish. Just like when things didn't look like it was the greatest when he was a plumber on welfare, McGregor fought on because he believed in himself and believed in his vision. Here's what's next.
Rapper T.I. in Vegas. T.I. and Floyd? I definitely would have wanted to watch this fight in person. Apparently, back in 2014, T.I. walked up to Floyd and Fatburger on the strip, started talking trash to Money May, and then started swinging on him. That situation was about T.I.'s wife, Tiny.